Good morning, everyone. Welcome to AM Sports with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. We start from the camp of the Ghana League Clubs Association, where their politics is at its crescendo now, and chairman of that association is Mr. Fianoo. He says that the club's welfare body did not get the best of his services due to number 12 and COVID-19. He is calling on delegates to extend his mandate for another 4 years to deliver an enviable brand. His core vision is women inclusion and turning clubs from recreational brands to business entities. There's more in the following report. On January 21, delegates of the Ghana League Clubs Association, the welfare body of clubs, would assemble at an elective congress to mandate new leaders to govern the association for the next 4 years. Incumbent chairman of the association, Fianoo, claims number 12, a documentary premiered in 2018 exposing alleged corruption and match fixing within the Ghanaian game, and the COVID-19 pandemic last year affected his vision for the association. He tells Joy Sports if delegates gives him an opportunity to lead the association for the next 4 years, his focus will be to reposition it to attract the right corporate world.
My vision is to move the association to a different level. We've been seriously affected by the expose and then the COVID, and that actually brought us to our wit's end. And having crossed that bridge, we've learned very good lessons that should aid us into repositioning the association. One of the key things we want to do, first of all, we are bringing the women on board for the first time. The women premier clubs will join GHALCA. We need to fine-tune the constitution to make their admission eligible. Because of that, what we are going to do on Thursday is just to get somebody to represent them as an ex-official member on the executive, whilst we fine-tune the constitution.
Many have accused club owners in the country of not seeing the business side of football. Mr. Fianoo says he will inculcate the business side of football into its members.
FIFA will tell you football is business, and it seems we are not seriously tackling the business side of football. We want to make our members aware that if we strike the right buttons and we do the right approaches, yes, it will be in a business that we'll be proud of.
Fianoo is being contested by Isaac Kumsin, a former vice chairman of the association who lost the 2016 elections, where Fianoo polled 64 votes. And talking of Isaac Kumsin, who is Fianoo's opposition, he's a former vice chairman of the association. He says that the current leadership style is monotonous and has promised to make the association a viable one. Isaac, candidate for this year's elections, contested the 2016 edition of the GHALCA Elective Congress, polling just 13 votes. In the process, incumbent Fianoo got 64 votes. However, Mr. Kumsin insists his vision for the association makes him a leading candidate for the polls. According to him, reviving the Presidential Cup, which he described as monotonous, would be essential in the resuscitation of GHALCA.
The President Cup, everybody from its inception has been a bona fide property of the government of the day. So from the word go of its planning, you plan with the government. When it will be launched, when it will be played, everything, government is on board in its planning. So if I tell you that I'm going to now make a Presidential Cup a seasonal competition, instead of probably 2 clubs playing in one day, it has become monotonous, boring. We have to think outside the box. We have to be innovative and give job for people to do. You understand? So this competition this time is going to play in the season. It is not going to be one playoff. Then we will play to they get 4 teams that are on the table. They are 1 to 4. Then we group them to play among themselves until we get the champion, where the president will honor that team. And this is purely presidential project, and I will expect that from the word go when you get to the office, we start the planning with the government and with the FA.
Mr. Kumsim also added that he admires the steps taken by the leader of the Ghana Football Association, Kurt Okreku, and he would emulate that by visiting corporate bodies to be a partner of GHALCA.
My administration is going to go into a lot of partnership and sponsorship agreements I have learned a lot from administration of Mr. Keti U.S. Okroku. He was elected at the time where there is COVID, okay? And if you bear me witness, from the word go, he hit the ground running, whether COVID or no COVID. He opened and knocked off any door that can be a partner to GFA or can be a sponsor to GFA. I admire that move, and I'm going to emulate that move.
The GHALCA Elective Congress will be held on Thursday, January 21. Let's still on politics relating to sport, and the International Olympic Committee. They have expressly indicated that the Ghana Olympic Committee election is not linked to the Olympic Games just as other national Olympic committees, and that Ghana can have its elections unabated. This is contrary to reports purported to undermine the integrity of the GHA General Assembly. Elon Benaya has the rest of the story.
The International Olympic Committee, however, strictly directs that in pursuit of the Olympic Charter, the election cycle of the National Olympic Committee is not expressly linked to the holding of the Olympic Games. The Ghana Olympic Committee leadership, in its December General Assembly, had proposed for an extension of Executive Congress from March until a date to be determined after the Olympic Games in Tokyo, but the General Assembly shut it down. The Ghana Olympic Committee must commence the process leading to elections in March 2021.
In the Olympic Committee, Fianoo Mensah, he became chairman or president of the association in 2017 when he won the election, beating incumbent then Professor Francis Dodu. And he wants to repeat what they did in 2016 when they went for the Rio Games before they came back to organize the elections. But this time around, General Assembly says that, no, we are not going to allow that to happen. Now, let's move on and do something on football. And the Ghana Football Association has warned clubs that they could face disciplinary actions from the football governing body should they fail to adhere to the match-day protocols put together before the commencement of the new football season. Secretary General Prosper Harrison Addo detailed what is required by members when he spoke to Joy Sports.
We continue to engage the clubs and the various stakeholders to ensure that it works fully. But it depends on all stakeholders, including the supporters themselves. I've been to the Accra Sports Stadium. You notice at the gates, people going into the stadium are wearing masks. Now they go to their seats, they sit down, and then people take their masks off and put it in their pockets, which should not be encouraged. So we plead and we urge all fans who go to the various stadiums that the mask, we've called for the mask for a purpose. So it's not only to enter, it's also to be worn during the game. I know sometimes it's discomforting, but you have to compare that with what we are dealing with. We are dealing with a very dangerous disease. And so I'll plead again to all soccer-loving fans who go to our various stadia that when you wear your mask and you enter, please don't take it off. And then when you go in, to ensure that there is social distancing as we've put in our protocol. So when you sit at one seat, make sure there's a space between you and the next person.
Former Ghana international Augustine Ahimfo wants Ghana Football Association to concentrate on talents from academies for the best talents to aid the progression of youth football in Ghana. According to him, these academies are established and have taught players the basics of football.
The established academies, and I sometimes really don't understand, because when you talk about under 17, these players are still learning. They are not professionals. It is only here that we feel that under 17 should be playing for Asante Kotokos and the other. But for me, as a former footballer, when the team goes and the performance is good, then like the General Secretary said, we have to build on it. It really doesn't matter if we don't win the cup, but you have to look at how the team is progressing, because the foundation of the Black Stars starts from the starters. So if their performance is very good, then obviously the progression through under 20 and the Blasters will look brighter. But if it does not really go that way, then we have a problem. Why am I talking about the academies? Because they have these boys that they've trained through the ages of 12, 13, 14, thereabouts. They know the basics. We can add on. But the core of the team should really start from the academy, the established ones. Let's say Right to Dim, for instance. Let's say Wafa, for instance. Probably 1 or 2 here and there. Gordon Trump has a very good 17 or whatever team. Or that Tilante has. So let's look at these established ones and then add on. So we'll not, because at the end of the day, if we are even supposed to project the players for these various academies, the FA can always have an agreement with them.